Hi guys, it's Bianca here. How you doing, Legal Side Hustle? First and foremost, I want to say thank you for those who were joining the event today. We got through it about 45 minutes, and then I don't know what happened. I do apologize. So I am re-recording everything so you guys can have a full video on business credit, and I'm also refunding you the amount that you paid for the event since I had technical difficulties, and I do apologize. And business things happen, and anything and things happen. I remember when I was working in the corporate world, some things are just out of your control. But the best thing that we can do is completely move forward and get it done and just breathe and let it go. Okay. So I am Bianca Renee. I am here today to talk to you about business credit. Now, I have been in business since 2017. I will get to that about you slide here shortly. But I am basically walking you through the basics of business credit. At the same time, I'm going to teach you some things that's important for you to know for your startup. Hey, I get it. I've been there on how difficult it is to start a business. Your mind is everywhere. You're pulling and pushing yourself in 50 different directions. You become the secretary, the admin, the operations manager, the IT professional, the social media analyst, marketing. You're all departments when you start. And I will have another event to talk about how to scale back and structure yourself so you do not get burnt out, because I've been there. But I did not have a lot of help when I started my business. I knew business, but knowing and doing are two different things. So I failed a couple of times, right? So I'm like, dang, what did I do wrong? I took those lessons. I patched myself back up, and I said, you know what? I got to get myself together. And I took some time out for me. I didn't quit, but I did take some time out. And now I'm here to teach you about business credit. And I will talk to you about the things that I've learned since starting in 2017, what has changed today, and what can you look for the future. So let's go ahead and get started. So, why are you here today? To find out when the gas prices are going down. If you're here for that, I do apologize. I don't have them answers. I don't know when it's going down. I can't tell you. It's a lot going on with the gas prices, y'all, and I get it. And this is another reason why I'm going to talk about this later when it comes to starting your business and business credit. Okay. It's so, so very important that we pay attention to what's going on in the world, because not only does it affect your personal life, but it sure enough affects your business. Okay. If you don't know, you know today. So, who am I? Who is Bianca? I am a business and IT consultant, a strategist. I love strategy. I love business analysts. I analyzing things. I love analytics. Oh my gosh, I am certified in Google Analytics. Like, I love business AI. I love all of it. It's just how my brain works. I am a geek and love of all things red. My grandma, hence you can take the background on my wall, right? So my grandmother loved red. Back in the day, I hated red, but for some reason, when I talk to my mom, she tells me how I'm similar to my grandmother, right? And I absolutely love my maternal grandmother. I absolutely love it. So that's who I am. I also kind of use the left side and right side of my brain. Like, I love to do digital art. I love interior design. I love to paint. I love like loud colors. Like, I just love putting things together that really don't look good together from another person, but to me it looks good. Kind of like color blocking, if you would put like pink and orange together. You know what I mean? That's how the type of person I am. So, inspire. The reason I want to make sure you are inspired is because everything that I have learned and the people who I have come across along the way inspired me somehow. Whether I was with them long term, whether I know them from a business networking event, whether I knew them from my past. Inspiration is so important. We have to not only be inspired by ourselves and other people, but at the same time, we have to be conscious of ourselves to want to be inspired. Okay. That's another conversation. But for me, my goal is to inspire you so that you know I am going to motivate you and I'm here for you if you sign up, as me as your business coach. And also that my hope is that you do reach your dreams and you become successful in what you love to do. Another part is to empower you. I want to empower you. And when you empower someone, for me, it's like you not only reach them here, right? But you also reach them at, a heart level and also in their mind. And then you connect with someone genuinely. So I want to empower you with those tools and business along with self-love because I've learned over the years that they go hand in hand. And I'm going to talk about that later on briefly in this event, in this seminar that you're having with me about business credit. But I am going to have another seminar about business and self love because they do go hand in hand. Let's move on. This is really exciting. So, this looks like a lot, but it's not. So let me break this down. So I'm giving you a view of everything that I have going on in my life as far as business. So BR Consulting Group is at the top left here with the gold B. So if you see the gold B, it's me, Bianca. It's BR Consulting Group. Now, the reason why I have that first is because that is my main business. That's the business I've had since 2017. Now, a lot of people knew it as Beautiful Beginnings because that's what my business was first named as. However, it has been changed to BR Consulting Group, and I'm still waiting on the IRS to change that. They are backed up. But it's been changed at the state level, right? Under that top layer, BR Consulting Group is Legalize Your Side Hustle. On Legalize Your Side Hustle, this is where I do my startups. This is where I empower startups who have a side hustle or those who want to start a business. I empower you. I teach you, as I am doing now with business credit, on how to start a business and legalize your side hustle. Under BR Consulting Groups, I also have BR Notary Services and BR Marketing Solutions. I am a notary public for my state. And Marketing Solutions, I kind of incorporate all with BR Consulting Group, but I do keep them separate sometimes when I am dealing with specific people or specific things, or if I want to teach a specific class. These are called DBAs. Now, the reason I am telling you about the structure of myself or my businesses is because this, and I will get to this in a second here in the next slide. Structuring your business is important to business credit, and I'll explain that later. As far as the community side, I love the community. I love real estate. I'm not a real estate agent, but I do wholesaling. I love economic development. I love innovation and technology, right? I use that in BR Consulting Group as well. And in Building Back Black. My guide here for Building Back Black, the reason I started is because I want to get back into the community. I want to empower my culture to not only bring themselves up from where they are, but empower them to own. So as I learn land ownership, as I learn wholesaling, I am empowered by others to pass the baton to me, where I am then passing the baton to you. I also have a podcast called Bianca on Self-Love. I am on all podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts. I am everywhere. So feel free to check my podcast out. I do have season 2 coming up soon. Brig Technology Solutions, I will launch that next fall. That is a technology company that I am building. And I have my nonprofit, No Woman Left Behind. So this is just to tell you what I have going on. But the main important thing is this. In my mind, I only have BR Consulting Group and Building Back Black. These are just little DBAs doing business as I can do them up under one entity. And I'll talk to you about that in the next slide. So before business credit, right, you have to make sure that what you're doing and how you're doing it in business and how you're structured in business is working for you and your business. Here's what I mean by that. Let's say, okay, I want to start a ice cream shop, right? Me, individually, me, nobody else. Let's say I have like one ice cream shop. Let's say I'm doing it out of my house. For example, right? I understand every state has their different requirements when it comes to food, right? So let's say you want to do it outside of your house. Okay, how would you structure yourself? How would you become an LLC or would you become a corporation? You can become what you want. But the thing that I always tell you, and this is important in business credit, before you even apply for business credit, you have to make sure that your business, is structured the way that meets, that benefits you, not only financially, but with operations as well. Because with an LLC, just for example, in a limited liability company, there's not a lot of paperwork when it comes to, or regulations when it comes to you. There's some, but there's not a lot. Let's say it's corporations. So corporations, I have to have a board, right? Shareholders, things like that. With an LLC, if I'm an individual ice cream shop maker and it's just me, you can see the first thing I put here is the IRS, is because the IRS looks at me as an individual person who has a limited liability company as a sole proprietorship in some instances, right? The reason why I included the IRS here first is because of this. Even though you may pay somebody, LegalZoom or whoever it is, or even me, to register your business in your state, okay, they don't govern the business entity. The IRS does. So if you have a limited liability company, LLC, a S Corp, or C Corp, or any type of corporations, a general liability company, a limited liability partnership, all of those are governed by the IRS, because guess what? They're just tax entities. That's all it is. All that's saying is how you're being taxed as a business. So if you look at an LLC, for example, you're going to be still taxed with self-employment taxes. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's 15.2%. That's what you are going to be including in your taxes when you file your taxes at the end of the year. That self-employment tax is included. Corporation is not, but you are double taxed on the income that the corporation has made and on the shares. Okay. So it's so important that you think about how much money you're going to be spending upfront in your business every month, every year, before you even think about applying for business credit. Okay. So when you structure your business, you figure that out. I'm going to have an LLC or corporation, right? That's what I want to do. Go to irs.gov and look at that and figure that out. Call me, book an appointment with me, and I'll help you with that. But at the same time, you want to make sure that you're doing what's best for you. So with the IRS, you want to get your EIN number, right? Employer identification number. If you look at your W-4s, even your W-2s, with, let's say you're working at a job right now, they have an EIN number. Every job has an employer identification number. You, as a business owner now, have an employer identification number. That is how the IRS separates you from everybody else's business, okay? So when it comes time for you to file your taxes, your employer identification number is going to go on your Schedule C. Okay, I'm getting to Schedule C later, but pretty much, Schedule C is basically your profit and loss statements when you start to file your taxes. What income you made and income expenses you spent, and then what is your gross, and then what is your net. Okay. The state you register with the Secretary of State Commission, right? So that is where you register your business in your state. For Virginia, it's $100, right? Every year it's $75. okay, for profits. Nonprofits is a different price. Just make sure you pay attention to what those prices are when you're building and structuring your business. City, and I'm just going on this section here. The city, sometimes you have to have a business license. Depending on what you are doing in business, you have to have a business license. If you are a baker, you need to have a business license in some cities. And you also may have to have some other certifications or health, food, and safety certifications to do business. That is a requirement. Okay. Cosmetology, you in business, makeup, lashes, all these things. You have to pay attention to the business license requirements on why you would need a business license, right? That is so important, because if you do not pay attention to that, you're not going to get a business license. Your city will help you with that. Just go down to your city hall and talk to them about or your treasurer's office in city hall and talk to them about their business license. Okay. And usually most cities have that panned out on their website, the information you need. You can even schedule an appointment to talk to somebody in some cities as well. Let's move over to a business plan. Now, business plan is vital. It is very important, whether you're applying for business credit or not. And it's important because you, my dears, right? Hustle gang is for you. I forgot to tell you that. You're my hustle gang. Business plans not only help you apply and get funding or investors, it also helps you here on the operation side. If you got to structure your business, keep up with all that paperwork, open a bank account, have all these policies for your customers. And let's say you open a building, I got to keep up with the electricity, the phone, the water. I got to keep up with all this stuff as one business owner. And let's say you want to have employees. Oh my gosh. This is a lot of work. Strategy is so important. The reason why you want to create a business plan is so you can narrow down and you can put on a piece of paper to visually see, this is my plan for my business. Write down how your operations are going to work. Write down the marketing strategy that you have. Write down and pan out how you're going to be able to pay somebody back who gives you a loan. Let's say Wells Fargo, the SBA, looks at your business plan. They say, oh my God, it's amazing. However, I'm not sure if your marketing strategy is going to be able to not only make you a profit and return over, make you a profit, but how are you going to pay me back? What are you doing to make more money to pay me back for the loan that I'm going to get you, right? So those are some things you got to think about. Some people don't want to think about a business plan at all. They just want to start an LLC and get going. But I'm going to tell you right now, you can do that, but you're going to come back 4 or 5 steps where I'm teaching you right now. Okay? Developing your business. This is all it's about. And we just finished talking about funding. It is so important that you be creative and innovative when it comes to business. And you're doing all of this before you get business credit. Now, you don't have to do this before you get a business credit. It's not a requirement. I am just saying, before you do anything, plan your business out, your strategy out on what you want to do. Capital. Now, we talked about business structure, right? And we talked about how it's important to know how much everything is up front. So if you are working a 9 to 5, you can say, you know what? Okay, for my business, I have to pay $100 to register my business in the state. I have the EIN number is free. Let me tell you something. If you all are paying somebody $500 for an employee identification number, please stop. You can do it on your line for free. I can walk you through it myself. We can do it together virtually. Okay, we can do it together virtually. Please do not pay anybody for an EIN number. Okay, and I just broke up a minute there, but please do not pay anyone for a federal employer identification number from the IRS for your business. Please don't pay nobody for that. I don't charge for that. If you want to learn how to do an EIN, please just ask me or book an appointment. It's not that hard. You can even go on the IRS website and do it yourself. Now, there are two websites that talks about employee identification number. There's only one real IRS.gov site. So please make sure you go to that one, okay? Not the one that's going to charge you $5,000 because the IRS doesn't charge for that. So you're building your capital and you're making more money working a 9-to-5, put some money aside. If you can save $50 a month, within a couple months, you're able to pay for the registration in your business, right? At your state level, and to pay the business license for your city, depending on what that costs. Find out what the costs are before, so you don't be like, oh my God, I'm never going to start a business. Forget it. It's too much money. Save, save and start there. If you are low income, whatever that low income is in your state, if you're designated as that, whatever, or even if not, I wouldn't, low income, yes, but let's say you're maxed out across everything every month, and maybe at the end of the month you got $100 left to your name at the, feeding the babies, paying for gas, after paying all your bills, you got $100 left over, but your house is good, your bills are paid. Okay, I get it. Bianca, how the heck am I supposed to start a business and I only got $100 left over in the month? Okay, I understand. $5. Okay, my grandfather always told me, put something up. I'm telling you, put something up. Okay, or start working on a side hustle. We'll talk about that later. But if you are low income or even self-employed, start making sure you put money aside. And this is for startups. When I start talking to the people who I work with, at BR Consulting Group at the higher level, like people who have been in business 3+ years, they put money in reserves. Like I have reserves. You put money in reserves because those reserves are set aside for your taxes, right? So are set aside for your state, your city taxes, your registration with your business. Those things are set up that way. Okay. So I'm just walking you through that so you can understand what is needed of you to basically have money set aside for your business, your capital. Now, let's move on to motivation. I am definitely going to motivate you. Okay. If you sign up with me as your business coach, I am going to motivate you. But at the same time, you may not always have somebody out there that's going to motivate you. You need to definitely motivate yourself. Okay. And be goal oriented. I know one of the ladies that I spoke to before we had a technical difficulty, Miss Ashley, she mentioned that she is very goal oriented. And it's so important to be goal oriented. You know why? Because when you set your goals and you believe in yourself, you can accomplish them, right? Now, let me take that one. Everybody ain't perfect because I'm not perfect. I have set goals and skipped right on over them. That's me. I'm not going to lie. It happens. One thing that I had a hard time doing was removing distractions. I was so used and comfortable with what I'm doing in life. Then I'm trying to add on my business. They're not going together. And I'm like, oh God, how can I separate myself from what I was doing and what I'm trying to do? I have to cut some friends out. I have to cut some habits out. I have to start focusing on me. And the reason why I put all of these categories in one before business credit is because if you do not focus and have some type of mindset, you're going to fail when it comes to business credit. Okay. And let me tell you why. Let's move over to the next screen. Business credit for startups. So let's get into it. Now that you have a lot of information on business structure, your funding for business, why it's important to set aside money, etc., etc. What is business credit? Okay, so check it. Everybody knows about personal credit, right? We know if you got an 859,000 score, you got that bomb credit, right? If you in the 400s and 500s, the 300s, you got work to do. Okay, whatever. We know personal credit. We know if you don't pay your bills on time or you miss some payments or the student loan is clocking, knocking at everybody's door, your score may go down. We get that, right? Even if you pay off something early, sometimes it affects your credit score. We know personal credit score. Like we've been living this all our lives. We know personal credit score. So Bianca, what is business credit? Here's what business credit is. Let's say that I have a contract. I'm trying to put it in simple terms for you. Let's say I walk in Lowe's and say, you know what? I want to do business with Lowe's, but I don't want to spend the money right now to buy this lawnmower for my business. How do I go about doing business with Lowe's to use this lawnmower for my lawn care business? How do I do that? I have to apply for Lowe's business credit or even Home Depot business credit account at their business, not with Visa, not with MasterCard, not with Discover, not with American Express. Business credit at the store. How do I do that? Then when we talk about structuring your business, registering your state, and things like that, that's how that gets involved. Like that's when you structure your business correctly, that's how you're able to apply for business credit and be able to apply for the Lowe's business credit account. Now, basically, it's you doing business with a company, and then you also agreeing to paying that company back on their terms. So let's say lawn care business, for example. I need a lawnmower for my business. I have all my business stuff structured. I have my business registered in the state. I have my EIN number. I have my business phone number. I have everything that I need. My business address. And I also have my business credit number. And we'll get into that in a second, right? And I want to apply for this lawnmower under my business name. You absolutely can. There's nothing stopping you to do that. You apply with Lowe's for the lawnmower. You make a deal. You make a deal and say, okay, when you apply and make that contract, you're basically saying, okay, yes, I agree. So Lowe's said, okay, you want this lawnmower, you can get this lawnmower. I see everything you have structured correctly. Just make sure you pay me within 30 days. Okay. Now the cycle, everyone's cycle is different. Everyone's business building cycle is different. Pay attention to the terms. Okay. If you go beyond that, you need to start calling Lowe's and say, look, I need another couple days. I'm serious. Whether they report and say, hey, you pay late because of that, that's between you and Lowe's. But that's all business credit is. The difference is they don't do the type of score that a personal credit does, like the 400s and 500 I mentioned. It's a paydex score. So you have like A, B, C, D for your business credit. Where does it go to? Experian has business credit. Nave has business credit profiles. Okay. I'll include some others in my video, in my ebook that you get. Just to tell you, here are all the business credit companies. When you go to apply for Lowe's, they're going to look at your business profile on Duns and Bradstreet or Experian or NAV, and they're going to look and they're going to say, you ain't been paying your bills on time, so I know I can't extend you any credit from my store. Okay, so let's think about that. Like that is just all business credit is you doing business with a company to get business credit in their store. You can also get to MasterCards and things like that with the company as well, but we'll talk about that at another virtual event. Okay. What are the requirements for your business credit for startups? I just went over this and I'll explain it again. The requirements is for you to have your business set up in your state, have a federal employer identification number. You need a business address, you need a business phone number, and you need to be the owner or have the owner's name. You need to, when you guys are applying, make sure you know what owner is what owner, okay? And we'll talk about that at another event. But for the sake of this is all the requirements are. Now, let's talk about the business address. You can use your home address. Some people don't recommend it, and I understand that. I don't even recommend it, but sometimes I do. You can use, and here's why, for a startup, you can get, if you can afford, remember I just talked about money in the last slide. If you can afford $10 a month, $20 a month, $30 a month for a company to give you an address that's not your home address for you to use as a business address, then you do that. If you can afford it. If you cannot, either don't start a business if you don't want to use your home address, because a PO box is not going to cut it. Okay, because a lot of companies with business credit and even working with the government do not include PO boxes, and even with the state, a PO box is a no. So let's talk about tiers. So in business credit, if you don't know, people refer to tiers as level of business credits. I can compare this to, if you look at personal credit and they say excellent, good or fair, bad, and poor, right? A little bit similar, right? We can call those as tiers because there's numbers, right? In business credit, you have tiers. You have tier businesses, tier 1 businesses, tier 2 businesses, tier 3 businesses. And what I mean by that is business companies. So for a startup, you're going to be at tier 1. That means you have no business credit and you need business credit. So you are applying and you're just starting a business. And you need those type of businesses who deal with startups. Tier 2 is kind of saying you've been in business for a while. You have been paying on time or not paying on time, but you have revolving business credit that you have been consistently paying on for a couple years or whatever their requirements are, and you are at a tier 2 business account and you want to apply to a tier 2 business account. Now, to get from tier 1 to tier 2, there are certain requirements. So let's say you wanted to apply for, let's say, a Lowe's credit card, just for example, right? Lowe's can be either tier 2 or tier 3. And you say, and they look at your account and they was like, well, you only have these 3 accounts and you only been in business 6 months. They may not approve you for that. Some require you to be in business 2 years before you can move over to tier 2 to get like a Lowe's MasterCard or Visa card or whatever it is they have. So those are tiers, right? Those are tiers. In order to get to tiers, you basically have to pay your bills. And this is why it's so important when I talk about business credit. Because like I said at the previous slide, you need to make sure that you can afford it. Okay. Let's move over to personal guarantee. So let's go back to the lawnmower scenario. Let's say in this scenario, you walk into a store with your lawn care business. I want to buy a lawnmower with Lowe's. Lowe's says, okay, here's the application. I need you have to personally guarantee this business account before I can determine whether or not you will get approved. What does personally guaranteeing mean? If you think about it, we just talk about personal social security numbers. What does that mean? That basically says, okay, you're going to apply on this piece of paper to Lowe's with your name, your business name, your business credit number by Duns and Bradstreet, your business address, your business phone number, I think I said my business employer identification number, all of that on that account. They're also going to ask you what percentage ownership are you of the business, whatever, right? And another box, it may say social security number. Okay, and sometimes you can't skip it. You got to put your social security number down or not. That's personally guaranteeing it. That means that one or two things. Well, one thing, they are going to check your social security number. And sometimes it will tell you if it's just for identification purposes. Sometimes they put you have to put your social security number on there. You're not personally guaranteeing the account. It's only to identify who you are, to make sure you are who you are, who's applying for the account. It's just, to make sure there's no fraud going on, right? So let's say personally guaranteeing theirs, it says, in order to qualify for this account, you have to personally guarantee. That means that you have to put your social security number in the slot so they can approve, so they can go over your personal credit to see if your personal credit is good enough for you to get business credit. If you have certain items like maybe a bad score, it just depends on the requirement. If you have too much debt, there are certain requirements that each company looks for. You have to have a certain credit score. You have to have a certain amount of debt to income ratio. So all of these things factors, and it just depends on the company. Some company went from not personally guaranteeing or not personally using your social security number to qualify for business credit to requiring that you have to use your personal credit to get approved for a business credit. That happens. As you move through the tiers, you may see companies still want your social security number. Okay. I am not a personal credit specialist, but I will say, make sure, just in case, get your personal credit up. Now, a lot of companies don't require that. This is just an FYI. This is leading me over to, will I be approved? You can be approved or denied in business credit. Most of the time, especially when I first started, I would get, like when I first started and I got my phone at the first time with Sprint. My business cell phone was at Sprint in the beginning. I got denied and had to call a 1-800 number. The only reason I got denied is because they couldn't verify my account. Even though I had everything right, somewhere along the line, somebody had it wrong. It wasn't me. And sometimes for fraud prevention, they do that just to talk to you, for you to verify. So if you ever get a decline letter for business credit, don't freak out just yet, right? Call the 1-800 they give you and follow and listen to what they tell you and go from there, okay? You may get, if you're denied, like I was denied one time, you may get a letter that says, oh, it's too much risk. Oh, you have too much business, too many accounts that's revolving. And I'm like, I don't have any business credit accounts. What are you talking about? I just had to call the number and I got approved. So sometimes they send you out a standard letter. Sometimes it's scary in the beginning, especially when you're starting out. But just call the number, see what the requirements are. If something have changed, you don't know, and go from there. Is business credit for startups recession proof? It can be. And it all depends on the previous slide on whether or not you can afford it. I do not recommend, and this is keeping it real, Bianca. I do not recommend you not paying a bill and going to get business credit. I don't recommend that by any means. You need to make sure you pay your bills. Okay. So it's a balance. This is why I talk to you about business and motivating yourself on what your goals are, right? Because it takes money to make money, right? It takes money to fund business credit. So if you don't have that, then why would you want to put yourself in debt on the business side, right? Let's move on. So here's some pros when it comes to let's move on here. So here's some pros when it comes to business credit. Can business credit help build your business capital? 100% it can. And I just explained to you, it takes money to make money. Some people tell you you can apply for all these cards. You can. You can apply for all these tier 1 cards or accounts and get approved. But in 30 days, you still got to pay. So in 30 days, you don't have, or 7 days, if you don't have the money, what do you think is going to happen to your business account or your business credit? What do you think is happening there? You can 100% self-fund. Now, what that mean by that is your 9 to 5 or using money from an investment account to fund your business. You can your business credit. You can absolutely do that. Just don't put yourself in some type of hole where you can't afford pay for your mortgage or rent, but you're paying for your business credit. That's not going to help you. Okay. So the more you pay, why did I put this? It's because live within your means. The more you pay into your business credit, the better you can be. The better it is for you to move from tier 1 and tier 2 to getting that MasterCard from Sam's Club to actually buying a car or leasing a car, truck for your business in your business name. This is the importance of building business credit. And for startups, you'll learn from me in the next couple slides here, the 4 startups that I have that I started at to help me build my business credit. Can business credit help with personal credit? Yes. Here's why. Remember when I was talking about personally guaranteeing an account? Some companies report not only to your business credit, but they also report to your personal credit when you're applying for a business account. So that's good for you when you're paying on time, and it's bad for you when you're not. So the only cons I have when it comes to business credit is not paying on time. Because that's not going to benefit your business or your personal credit if you have to use both to apply for a business account. I hope that makes sense. Let's move on to the next slide. Live within your means. I just want to stress that. I failed at this one point in my life. I'm not going to lie. I really did. When I was making like 6 figures, I failed at that. I'm not going to lie about that. I did. I was living within my means depending on what I was doing. If that makes sense. But in a nutshell, I won't. I really won't. Because, I'm from the streets. I ain't never seen that much money in my life. You want me to do what with it? You know what I mean? But I learned, even though my grandfather taught me about business, he taught me about investments. I had investments. I still have investments. I'm just saying, live within your means. If you want to start at let's talk about a tier 1 account. Home Depot. Your pro account. And you will have all this information in your ebook. If you start there, and let's say, I bought some business, some flooring for my business, for my office, right? It's a tax write-off, on my business credit. That's tier 1. I applied for it, got approved. So I'm living within my means because I say, okay, I know I can pay this off in 30 days and move on, right? So live within your means, both personally and in business, so you won't get in debt, so you won't feel like it's too much. Just take your time, okay? And structure and build yourself and organize. So let's talk about some fun facts here. So did you know, depending on the type of structure your business is set up as, your assets can still be liable even with business credit? What does that mean, Bianca? Remember when I was talking about your LLC, your S Corp, a limited liability, people believe that your personal assets are separate. Now, let me tell you yes and no. Okay? So your personal assets are separate from your business. However, comma, if you personally guarantee, put your social security number on anything, let's say for a business card or one of your business cards that you just got or account, if you get sued, they can come after your bank accounts personally for that account to be paid off. Does that make sense? And something that I'm working on is putting my stuff into a trust. Okay. I've talked to a lawyer and everything because I want to put everything in my business name and put my assets in a trust where they disappear. Do you understand what I'm saying? So as you move on in business, you learn and talk to different people ahead of time. Talk to a business attorney. Talk to someone who's dealing with estates and trust and learn. So they can teach you what to prepare for within 5 years or 3 years of business, you know? It's so important. Why do you think sometimes it's hard to find certain businesses out here? Who's the owner? Because they have a lawyer. They have an estate attorney who knows what they're doing, asset protection, okay? So did you know you can get denied business credit if you do not have these things set up correctly? And it looks like I spelled these wrong. I'm sorry. I will update that later. But do you know that, right? Because, and I just talked about that a minute ago, if you do not have your business name, your business address, your business phone number need to be the same when you file with your state, when you file with your business license in your city, when you file with the employee, with the EIN number, with the IRS, and when you apply for your business credit number, which is your DUNS number, all of that information need to be the same. When you change it, which is what I'm going through now, when I change my name from Beautiful Beginnings to BR Consulting Group, you have to do that with the IRS. I changed my name during COVID. I sent the IRS 10 FedEx mails, and it's still not changed. I've also called the 1-800 number who told me to fax it, because when you have a different account in different places, like the government, like I do, they go try to verify your account and they can't because it hasn't been updated to the correct thing and you get denied the registration. So I am still going through that. They told me it should be updated soon, but we shall see, right? This is just something I'm telling you guys because you may change your name later on. You decide to change your name for your business and it affects your business credit because everything needs to be the same so you can be approved for business credit. All right, let's see. Moving on here. So moving between the tiers, there's an estimated timeline here. And this is just an estimated timeline. Let's say you want to go through tier 1. Let's say you've been in business. A company says you need to be a year in business, right? Before we can approve you for an account. That means you're registered in business for a year with the state. You got your federal EIN number and your DUNS number has been established for a year. Then you can apply, right? This is just the estimated timeline. And some of these you can apply today. Let's say Granger or Uline, for example. Or a business credit card that just came out, Tilful. You can apply today for the accounts, right? Sometimes they require you a deposit since you're new. You may have to put a $200, $300, $400 deposit, and you can get your business credit right then, For the Uline and Granger companies, which are supply companies, they have like boxes, paper, trash cans, garbage cans for your business. Everything you need from Granger and Uline, they have. Even if you don't need it, just apply for it to help you in your tier 1 business so you can move forward in your tier 2 as you're paying your accounts on time, right? So they may require you and say, okay, I approved you for this business account. However, I needed you to make a purchase of, let's say, $60 or more. and I need to go through 2 cycles where you pay on time. Okay. So some companies do that, just for example. So moving between the tiers are different requirements for you guys as startups. You may have to put a deposit down. And this again goes back to what I was talking about earlier. Make sure you save up to be able to fund these type of things. Business credit is a beautiful thing. Don't get me wrong. There's so many companies who have started with business credit, not cash. Okay. Got billionaires who've made money just on business credit alone. $1 million who use business credit to buy houses. Like there's a lot of things you can do. Don't get discouraged. I just want you to be smart when it comes to preparing yourself financially. Okay. So I want to thank you for joining this business credit startup with Bianca. I do appreciate you. I know I talked about a lot of things. You may still have some questions for me later, but in the ebook, it's going to go over a lot of information and you'll receive that after this. If you don't, please email me at bianca@brconsultinggroup.com or info@legalizeyourside-hustle.com, and my website is Legalize Your Side Hustle for startups. Okay. My phone number is there. If you have any questions, you can text me. Don't blow my phone up. Don't blow my phone up, Hustle Gang. Do not. This is a wealth of information that I have provided to you. I am so excited because I did not have a lot of this information when I first started. There's a difference between, going on social media, reading something, and then on a group and things like that. But it's a little bit different when someone's talking to you and telling you about it and they experienced it, right? I feel, we connect differently in different ways. People are always different. We just learn differently. It's important to learn at least from those who have been through it. As promised, like I said before, you will receive an email after the call with the ebook. If you do not, please just shoot me an email and I'll get it right out to you. I know sometimes it may take like an hour or so because I have it kind of integrated in. But yeah, so I'm super excited on your journey when it comes to business credit and your startup. And the reason why I kind of put them two hand in hand is because now you have at least some basic information on how to start a business, right? And then on top of that, how to structure a business. And on top of that, how to include business credit while you're structuring your business for your startups. So if you didn't catch the startup companies that I used when I first started, and you can still use them today, is Home Depot. All this is going to be in my ebook. Home Depot Pros account. It's a professional account that you can sign up for its business. Uline and Granger is one that you can also sign up. And also, you can sign up for like Office Depot, but I'll send that information to you as well. And just remember, as you're building anything and everything, Hustle Gang, just please be smart on what you're building, what you're doing, because you definitely do not want to live outside of your means. Whether you're doing personal credit or business credit, do not live outside of your means. If you do, because I've done that before, like I told you, you're going to have to catch up and start over and do everything again. It's okay. We make mistakes. Keep motivated. Don't be so hard on yourself. It is a journey. It is not a sprint. It is a marathon. Take your time, boo. Take some time off social media too, because sometimes that may discourage you in some ways. But anywho, I am Bianca Renee. Follow me at Legalize Your Side Hustle on Facebook and Instagram for your startups. For businesses 3 to 5 years, you can follow me on BR Consulting Group LLC on Facebook and Instagram. Look for the gold B. That's me. Okay. I'll talk to you soon, Hustle Gang. I hope you have a great day, evening, or afternoon whenever you decide to watch this. Later.